If you create that position, you will find ways that that position will take incredible load off of your shoulder.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
Today's episode of the Appraiser Coach Podcast is ANOW software. ANOW is the software that I use to manage my appraisal office. You should be as well, ANOW.com. That's ANOW.com. Folks, I want to talk to you briefly about office managers. Now, I want to make it very clear. I'm very aware. I do a lot of coaching with a lot of appraisers. This is a very intimidating topic, and here's why. First of all, you run into the situation of finances. Okay, that is a big issue when it comes to office managers because let's be honest, office managers are not cheap, nor should they be. If you have hired a quote-unquote cheap office manager, you get what you pay for, right? And an office manager is a very, very important role. So this is a financial commitment. Now, I really hesitate. In fact, I would encourage you don't use the word cost when it comes to office manager. To me, an office manager is an investment. Now, I will tell you very clearly it's not for everyone, okay? In fact, I'll just tell you right up front, it is not for the small office, right? It is for growth. It is for success. It is when you want to take your office from one level to another without burying yourself, trying to be the technician, the owner, and the office manager all at once. Number two, this is very, very important. It's not just about the cost/investment, but it's also about ability. It's also about talent. It's also about experience. It's also about who it is that you ultimately hire. Now, I want to make sure that right up front in this minisode that we talk a little bit about the term office manager, right? Office manager to me is an umbrella term because it can mean many different things to many different people and should. In a smaller office, when you're barely big enough to start hiring an office manager, your office manager is going to be your air traffic controller, okay, sometimes called the order manager, is going to be your human resource manager, right? Is going to be the actual production or the procedural manager in your office, might actually also be the customer service or even data entry person in your office. I've seen all of that, okay? And all of those things, all of those roles do in fact fit under the umbrella term office manager, okay? So when we talk about office manager, especially when I'm coaching, I try to make it very clear what we're talking about. I try to define the term as clearly as possible so that we're not talking about two different things. Often I'll be talking about an office manager and you need an office manager and immediately, my client will go to customer service, right? Oh yeah, it really would be nice to have somebody answering the phones. No, that's not an office manager, that's a customer service rep. Oh yeah, well it'd be awesome to have somebody, be in charge of human resources. Again, could be an office manager, but that's not the definition of office manager. Oh, it'd be nice to have somebody that could basically be the air traffic control person to make sure that the planes land and take off without running into each other. Or in other words, make sure that the orders come in the door and out the door on a timely manner and do so with as few mistakes as possible. Again, not an office manager, more like an order manager, but a lot of times that person is the same person, especially even, I should say, not especially, but even when you get to a higher level, even when you get to over $1 million revenue, right? My office manager, fabulous, best office manager I've ever had, wonderful, love her to death, right? She is human resources, she is order manager or air traffic control, and she is procedural manager, right? She's all of those things. But those are all subcategories of the bigger vision, the umbrella vision, okay? Speaking of vision, folks, where are you with your business and where do you want to be? What is your vision? ANOW can help you get there. Why? Because it tells you where you're at and it tells you what your goals can be. Meaning you can look at your numbers with ANOW very, very simply. Analytics is incredible. I spoke about order management, right? Processes management. All of that stuff can be helped with the great software ANOW. Check them out. Go to ANOW.com. It's ANOW, ANOW.com. Welcome back to the program, everybody. We're talking about the umbrella term office manager, but I want to chat with you about when is the right time, because it's not always the right time for people. Sometimes I talk to people in my coaching, whether it be a mastermind or one-on-one coaching or what have you, and the topic of office manager comes up, and a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, geez, that would be nice, right? That would be nice to have that handled. Folks, you do have to be to a certain level financially or volume-wise, if you will. The company needs to be solvent. The company needs to be successful in order to justify. Now, I will say this. That was the hardest hire for me. Well, other than the first. The very first hire I ever had was very hard. It was difficult to get over the hump of no help versus some help. No salaries other than my own versus, having to pay somebody every 2 weeks. That was scary for me. But the next scary thing, even though it took a very long time, I think I had 12 employees before I finally said, okay, it's time for me to have an office manager. I would not, by the way, recommend that you wait till you have 12 employees. I waited too long. Well, I waited too long. Let me stress that. I waited too long, and here's why. I absolutely do believe in this concept that the universe abhors a vacuum, meaning if you build it, they will come. If you hire someone to be your office manager, you're going to work your off to make sure that you can pay that person and pay that person well. You will. And now, that doesn't mean that principle works to the extreme, meaning, well, I guess if that's true, Dustin, I should hire 3 office managers because then I'll work 3 times as hard. Now, and there's a level, right? But the idea of waiting until you are quote unquote ready for an office manager means you're probably never going to get there. You've got to take the leap, and you've got to make that path available for them, empower them to make decisions for you. That's the hard part, right? An office manager is going to do a lot of the same things that you are doing currently. I've told you the story before. I'll tell you again. I remember being in an airport. It was in Las Vegas. I had just finished a mastermind. I was getting ready to get on a plane, and that particular mastermind, my mentor, who happens to be an insurance office owner, here locally. He and I have been friends for a long time. He's been my mentor for, 12 years now. We were in the airport together. He had come with me to do a presentation to my mastermind students on insurance and the importance of insurance. Not to sell any insurance. He had no financial incentive there at all, other than he was my friend, and we had a great time together, and he came down and talked about some loose ends that many appraisers have when it comes to insurance. We were in the airport, and I was busy because I had been in a mastermind all day long. And he's like, Dustin, what are you doing? I'm like, dude, I've got so much I've got to catch up on because I've been in this mastermind and that's been my focus all day. Now I've got to catch up at the office. He goes, why don't you have an assistant? And you know what my stupid answer to him was? I mean, he might as well slap me across the face. I can't afford one. He said, Dustin, look at you. How much money do you make per hour? What are you doing? And he was right. And within a couple of weeks, I'd found a great office manager, and the rest is history. Folks, if you build it, they will come. Meaning, if you create that position, you will find ways that position will take incredible load off of your shoulders. Now, it's not for everyone. In a private one-on-one consulting, I would love to go through the process with you of looking at your finances, of looking at where you are, where you need to be, and helping you to make the decision as to whether or not it's right for you at this time. It's not right for everyone, but I'll tell you folks, that will change your life. It truly will. I know I've said that phrase about many things. Laser measures will change your life. Total Mobile will change your life. Now will change your life. Folks, this will change your life. Trust me on this. And trust me, as a consultant and a coach, I would love to help you through this process. Reach out to me, theappraisercoach.com/coaching.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.